Over 120 South African companies operate freely in Nigeria. No one is asking the South African staff working in these companies to provide proof of identity. No one is taking over their shops or businesses. At some point, Nigeria will have to review the options available to us. And that's an end of quote. That was an excerpt from the speech of Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, at the height of xenophobic attacks on Nigerians in South Africa. As the deadline for foreigners to leave South Africa expired yesterday, June 30, the big question around the globe is what next? Will Nigeria make good its threat to review options available to pay back the unwarranted unofficial order for foreigners to leave South Africa? The third batch of Nigerian returnees touched down Lagos yesterday with tales of woes and unfair treatments. So far, almost 1,000 Nigerians have opted to come back home. An estimated 30,000 Nigerians are said to be living in South Africa. The Nigerian population is overwhelmingly urban and highly concentrated in South Africa's economic hubs, primarily in the Gauteng province of Johannesburg and Pretoria. Again, another big question is, what is the fate of those who stayed behind and failed to heed the unofficial warning to vacate the country? Repeatedly, the government of South Africa has washed its hands off the call for foreigners to leave the country. But is there adequate protection against xenophobic attacks at any point in time? Some of the accusations against foreigners by xenophobic proponents include foreigners taking over scarce jobs, eating fat and big. Yesterday, we learned that thousands of South Africans took to the streets to enforce an unofficial, self-imposed deadline for undocumented foreigners to leave the country. President Cyril Ramaphosa's administration has condemned the action as unlawful and put security forces on high alert to prevent widespread violence. On Factfile this morning, we shall be taking a trip to South Africa to let you have a feel of the aftermath of the June 30 ultimatum. Meanwhile, we ask again, what next after the Leave Our Country order? For your participation, call 091-2423-0865. Once again, the number is 091-2423-0865. You can also leave us a comment on the X platform at Ray Power Network. I'm talking about following us across social media platforms. We are live this morning on YouTube on the handle at Ray Power Nigeria. Welcome to Factfile. So now that the unofficial deadline is behind us, attention then shifts from the ultimatum itself to what next, to the aftermath of the ultimatum. For many Nigerians, and specifically other foreigners, foreign nationals living in South Africa, questions about safety, livelihoods, and the future are questions that remain unanswered. But at the same time, the government here in Nigeria, and of course, the South African government, face the challenge of protecting lives, upholding the rule of law, maintaining diplomatic relations. These are, especially in the area of diplomatic relations, it seems to have strained in the last couple of weeks. So what happens next? What should be the response of the Nigerian government to the experiences of its citizens beyond evacuation? How can South Africa address this recurring incidents of xenophobic violence while ensuring that lawful immigration concerns are handled through due process rather than mob action, which seems to be what's going on there right now? These are issues that goes beyond diplomacy, the border and human rights. We're talking regional cooperation, international relations, and also a shared maybe vision, so to speak, of what Africa can be like, where people can live and work freely and safely in dignity. What does this episode mean for the continent in terms of brotherliness? At the ongoing World Cup, you could see the aftermath of South Africa's elimination. There was widespread celebration by other African nations. So can this broken relationship be amended? What steps needs to be taken and by who? 091-2423-0865 is the number to call. Once again, 091-2423-0865. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? I can barely hear you. Say your name again, please. Moses from Saturday also said, you're welcome, Moses.
See, our government and opposite to do, that's why you see other countries keep treating us like a slave. Thanks. South Africa to Nigeria, Ghana to Nigeria. Then what are we? What are we? Are we a dog that just sit down there watching, how do they call this, a cat there watching the other animals unless you anyhow? It is time to pray that let us teach the South Africa that their own property, their own people, they are still here to them. Let us, because it is only Adamo Shumole that did what is right in my mind is that I've been seeing senators and whatever other people are doing. Adamo Shumole advised the people to revoke the license of this South Africa company, but when they go to, they refuse. If we in Nigeria take any step the way they are doing, they will stop all this kind of nonsense. That is my own thing. Thank you.
He doesn't have control now. Thank you very much for calling Moses from Delta State for setting up the conversation. This morning, what are your thoughts? Please call 0912-423-0865. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Oscar from Lagos. You're welcome.
To discuss about South Africa and Nigeria saga. You see, what I see here is diplomatic relationship we have with South Africa. The both countries are sovereign countries, a country of independence on their own. What are the diplomatic policies that truly create the relationship between Nigerian citizens and the South African citizens and the South African led government? You can see where democracy works. The Nelson Mandela of our time created a good democracy and a policy that gave South Africa the right of a freedom to acquire things and take back your country. You see, the apartheid in South Africa fight, it was not in vain. Look at Nigeria today, it's been becoming a victim of circumstances to South Africa victimization. Nigeria should look at the diplomatic here.
You said that? No, only you did watch it. Only we did watch it.
Together as a country in Africa. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Oscar from Lagos, also weighing in on this conversation. Very shortly, we'll head over to South Africa, where we have standing by to join the conversation this morning, Akindele Lawyer, the National Publicity Secretary, Nigeria Union in South Africa. And then as well, we're scheduled to have the coordinator, Human Rights Group, Impact Forum, Rollins Mabula. But in the meantime, who's here? Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? You're welcome.
Nothing here. It has come to the point, issue of South Africa and Nigeria, asking Nigeria to go. It has come to the point that we should go for eye for an eye, nose for a nose. Because from all indications, government of South Africa is supporting what the citizens are saying. Because if it is not so, it will have come to a point that the government would have stopped the people because the people cannot be powerful than the government and the government security apparatus. So having said that, we all center on our government, the way our government has over here, the way our government major on infrastructure and social amenities. If they put those things in place, nobody will have reason to travel to South Africa. Just like when we were children at home, anytime we go to another man's house to watch television, the children in that house, they will not give us feed to feed. They will pursue, and that will force our fathers to buy television in their houses. This message, this action that is being done by the South Africans should tell Nigerian government that it is now time for them to fix our telecom system. It is now time for them to fix some facilities in Nigeria and make Nigeria a better place for all of us to stay here. Because home will always be home. Foreign land will always be foreign land. Thank you.
Okay, very interesting arguments that you have raised as far as this conversation is concerned. First, maybe I'm not sure I'm with you on the an eye for an eye thing, which you started with, saying maybe now is the time for Nigeria to go eye for eye, tooth for tooth, nose for nose with South Africa. Of course, you know the popular saying an eye for an eye makes the world go blind. But one that I do agree 100% with is when you take us back to those days when we were kids, when we rushed to our neighbors' homes to go watch television. And we say, well, when our parents come back and we say, oh, we went to so place to watch television, it spurred our parents to say, whatever the case, I'm going to get a television in this house so my children are, start going out for that. And in this instance, we're mirroring that to the national scale to say now is the time for the federal government to address the issues that continue to encourage Nigerians to leave the country in droves. We have joining us now the National Publicity Secretary, Nigeria Union in South Africa, Akindele Lawyer. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us on Facts Well.
Good morning, thank you for having me. Good morning to your listeners.
Okay, what is the environment like? What's the situation like and the feeling after yesterday's ultimatum in South Africa? Can you let us in on what is going on right now? We do know that there were protests yesterday. Was the intensity higher? Were there more protests and attacks against foreigners? What's going on in South Africa right now?
Yes, thank you. There was a nationwide shutdown, nationwide protest across South Africa yesterday, the 30th of January 2026. The atmosphere was very tense, but relatively calm. Nigerians living in South Africa are understandably very anxious and also obviously concerned about their safety and livelihoods. But the June 30th deadline created significant psychological distress, within the Nigerian community. Many families are living in fear and uncertainty, not knowing what the next day will bring. But we are encouraged, by the calls for calm from major and various stakeholders, specifically the South African government and the Nigerian nations. They've been very consistent in reaching out to the communities. The Consulate General of Nigeria in Johannesburg have been issuing safety precautions and safety advisories to the community on what to do, what not to do, where to go, where not to go during protest. So we're really encouraged by those calls, for calm. And we are also continuing our engagement with South African authorities as an organization and as community leaders to ensure the safety of our people. So we are monitoring the situation very closely and maintaining open communication channels with all our members across the South African provinces. It's unfortunate that we are also hearing the latest news from the leaders of the March and March movement that the protest will not end tomorrow, it's not ending tomorrow, and that it will continue every Thursday in South Africa. Yeah.
Okay, can you give us an idea, maybe a rough estimate of the number of Nigerians living and working, in South Africa?
That's a little bit difficult to answer, but not so difficult as well. We have official estimates and we also have unofficial estimates. I prefer to quote based on the official estimates from Statistics South Africa and the United Nations. Their figures are hovering around 25,000 and 36,000 Nigerians. Documented Nigerians in South Africa. The unofficial, non-official estimate that we have gotten, from people just making statements without their statistics to follow it. They say it is ranging from 100,000 to 500,000 Nigerians. Yeah, but these are not official figures.
Okay. Okay, well, if we stay with the official figures, which you have put between 22, 25, and 36, thousand people, one is then left wondering, I mean, because so far as this evacuation is concerned, the figures are somewhere around 1,000 people that federal government, has evacuated back to Nigeria. One is left wondering, what is the fate of the remaining, I mean, yourself and the other 21,000, if you go with that barest minimum, and what is the main attraction for you in South Africa? Can you confidently say that you're safe? There's so many questions in one. You can go ahead.
South Africa is an attractive destination for many reasons. South Africa offers economic opportunities, relatively developed infrastructure, and has historically been seen as a gateway to the African continent, for business. Many Nigerians have established legitimate businesses. We've seen the expansion of Nigerian businesses into South Africa, though indeed. People are choosing South Africa as a destination for their children to school, and they're building lives here. They've been building lives here over many years. So they cannot simply abandon everything work for. And it's almost impossible. Majority of the people, in all honesty, majority of the people who are choosing to be to be repatriated, follow through back to Nigeria. A lot of them have lost businesses, either they have no access to economic opportunities, and yeah. So, but regarding safety, we take precautions every day and we remain vigilant. We established, integrated community watch systems within our own community, and we maintain very constant communication with ourselves. So, but we pretend the situation is comfortable. We live in daily and night, but the thing is that we also believe in dialogue and peaceful coexistence. South Africa is a beautiful country, and we are brothers and sisters to South Africans. And don't forget, many of us are also integrated seriously into this community. We have families here. Many of us are married to South Africa. We can't just wake up one morning and pack our bags and go. So there are so many reasons that many Nigerians are going to stay in this country, and why many will choose not to remain.
Okay, yes, Akindele, it's interesting how you have put it, and it clearly sums up the situation. But I think there's a place in this conversation for my next question, which stems from the concern of the listener that has to do with, ensuring that whether we like it or not, except we choose to deny the truth, there are a lot of Nigerians who leave Nigeria all because home doesn't feel pleasant enough. There are no opportunities at home. The life is hard, there's economic hardship, and you just find that the average young person in Nigeria just wants to leave the country. Is there a place for that conversation here about ensuring that opportunities are bound at home and people do not just want to leave the country at all costs?
Honestly, I love this question because there are some of us living in South Africa, and I can confidently tell you that some of us actually spend naira abroad. And what am I saying? There is a lot of abundant opportunities in Nigeria. I think, in my own estimation, Nigeria is one of the best places to make quick bucks, legitimate money. So I think it has to do with a lot of ignorance and a lot of having a closed mind. There are significant opportunities. Nigeria being a developing economy provides a lot of opportunities for the informal system. So I think our people must also continue to look around them. What services can they provide? What value can they add to their immediate environment? I think once young people, once Nigerians begin to see, begin to look at things from a different perspective, and have a positive mindset about our country, about our people, about the situations around us, I think that is when the conversation will change about, adding value. So for me personally, I think there is amazing opportunities in Nigeria. There's a lot of things to be done. Nigerians are making millions every day in that same country. So people travel for very different reasons, and we cannot stop migration. But migration must be regulated. Migration must be legal.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Very well spoken, Akindele Oluloyo. Unfortunately, we cannot further this conversation beyond this point, but I'm sure there are Nigerians who will be saying, if you speak so highly about the opportunities in Nigeria, then why are you not here making those millions? But we'll leave it at that. Akindele Oluloyo, thank you very much for joining us on Fact File this morning. All right, that was the National Publicity Secretary, the Nigeria Union in South Africa, Akindele Oluloyo, sharing his thoughts firstly on issues going on in that country, and then as well, we wrapped up that conversation with him emphasizing the fact that there's so much available in here that we can achieve in Nigeria. Very shortly, we'll have our second guest, also in South Africa, but let's hear from you, 0912-423-0865. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from, first of all? Ibi, you're welcome.
It's very easy to see it or doing it. One issue they should have said is that the government should look at the business environment conducive. If the business environment is not conducive, then we should be making the millions of naira, not dollars again. You start to talk and you feel your people, the thoughts of your people at home. Before you say you answer something the question, oh, Nigeria make millions of naira, and you are there making millions of rand. My parents got that rubbish. The government
I don't necessarily with that law.
make the business environment conducive. If the South African government did not make it conducive, will Nigeria so go ask, will America come to Nigeria come to business, instead of business, they are calling their expatriates. They don't train new business and make money and go back.
Okay, we have to do that. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibi. We had our next guest waiting, and we have just a couple of minutes to wrap up. So for the final 3 or 4 minutes we have this morning, we have the coordinator, Human Rights Group, Impact Forum, Rollins Mabula. Good morning, Rollins. Thank you so much for joining us on Fact File.
Morning, and greetings to all our listeners. Thank you for bringing us here. Thank you.
Now, you are a South African who is against the xenophobic violence. What has made you choose this path?
Sorry, I lost you a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
I said the mindset generally is that it's not all South Africans that are in support of xenophobia and all the violence that's been going on in that country, and you are one of those. What has made you choose this path?
All right. Look, I think in life we sometimes either choose to stand on the truth or to stand on the other side of the truth. So I actually, we decided that, look, this is not factual that foreign nationals are the cause of the problems that we have here in South Africa. Like I've always said, the problem that we have in South Africa, it is our failing government. It is not foreign nationals. In fact, foreign nationals are also contributing positively into our economy. So I will not stand and say the cause of the problem is foreigners, therefore the foreigners must go. No, that one we will not stand for it. We would rather say let us push our government to do the right things.
Okay.
I don't know if you got that.
Yes, sure. Very, very well said. Now that you say that, well, for those who think otherwise, we have a situation where scores of foreigners have now left your country. Is that feeling now that yes, there are now enough jobs for the agitated countrymen to do?
Look, you can't move a person out of his business, and it's not like substituting. Even if in a soccer match, you cannot take away a player who knows how to play football and put a player who cannot play football. I know who cannot play football. before. So this is something very deep because business is something that it either should be a calling as well, it should be a dream, it should be a purpose. Now people will come and say, no, we want to take sponsorships. But these foreigners, when they came to South Africa, they found us closing our own sponsorships. And they said, no, can we use your sponsorships, your buildings that you have closed? And our people said, no, as long as you are willing to pay rent, then you can use it. These foreign nationals use these spaces. Right now, our people are the ones complaining. So that shows that people still have a lack of understanding of how business is conducted. So basically what we are saying to our fellow citizens, you can chase away from us, but it will not take away the problems that we have. Right now, other much says they will be matching for the next coming 6 months. Ours is to push our government to implement the solutions that we have, which is to employ immigration field workers, so that we do not see people sleeping in the camps as if we are so hostile and we are kicking away people. There's so many things that can be done which are humane with dignity, that those who are not permitted to be here can still be here for a while, while we are fixing and preparing their way back home without treating people like it.
Rollins, we have just a minute to wrap up, but I want us to address this concern very quickly because yesterday was the deadline, the June 30 deadline that was given. And the big question now is for all the foreign nationals who are still in South Africa, who have chosen to stay back, is there protection for them?
For those who are, here's the quagmire. The law says people who are undocumented must not be in South Africa. Fine, we understand it. But now, the very same government cannot tell you how many illegal immigrants are here in South Africa. So what if there are 10 million? How will it be possible that you can deport 10 million people? It's not so easy, it's costly. So, and now remember in this situation, there are people who are politicizing this issue. That is why it will be very difficult to be sorted out. If government is trying to do this, tomorrow the government can say let's document all those who are not criminals, those who are not fugitives of law in their countries. You will still see people, no, you are rewarding crime. So this is a very difficult situation that that is a government to be really, really decisive on whatever the stance they want to take. So for now, our government also is not clear on what they really want as government.
In just a few words, a quick word on brotherliness as we wrap our conversation this morning. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I said in just a few words, give us a parting shot on the need for us to maintain brotherliness.
Look, we still need brotherliness, especially as South Africa. We cannot isolate ourselves from other countries. We only have African countries as our neighboring states. So the only thing we need, we must maintain international relations. We must make sure whoever is protesting against foreign nationals, they must not be deadly, they must not murder people, they must not assault people, they must not take the law into their own hands. That's all we can say. Let us, to all the African states, they must not think all South Africans as xenophobic. There are South Africans who are standing up in terms of humanitarian services, in terms of, so we need Africa to be united, to do business together. So they do not isolate South Africans because of other people who have got political ambitions and ulterior motives. Thank you very much.
Very well said, Rollins Mabula. Thank you so much for joining us on Fact Call this morning.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, so that was the coordinator of Human Group Impact Forum, Rollins Mabula, and in that stretch, we also appreciate our earlier guest, Akindele Olunoyo, the National Publicity Secretary, Nigeria Union in South Africa. We have been looking at South Africa. What next after the June 30 deadline? As always, we continue to promote brotherliness, both home and abroad. And that's it on Fact File this morning. We thank you for being a part of the discussion. AB, you joined us from Lagos, Oscar as well, Anifia from the States, and then Moses, you called from Delta. This has been a production of Yewande Iwa, our studio assistants from Prophecy and Deborah. I am Oluwato Singh watching. Good morning.
Good morning.
Here is the news coming to you from Radio Power FM. The federal government has reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to the welfare, well-being, and continued support of military veterans across the country. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, gave the assurance when he received the delegation of the National Council of the Nigerian Legion, led by its chairman, Grace Morenike Henry, in Abuja. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has advised corps members to promote national unity, integration, and mutual understanding as they proceed to their various places of primary assignment. He gave the advice yesterday during the closing ceremony of the orientation course of the 2026 Batch B Stream 1 corps members hosted to Lagos. And a total of 1,271 offenders are currently serving various non-custodial sentences across Nigeria, according to the latest statistics released by the Nigeria Correctional Service. The figures from the NCOS shows that 1,137 of those serving non-custodial measures are males, while 134 are females. And that's the news at this time. We'll give you a more detailed bulletin at 10. Up next is for the school platform.